welcome to you today. I am Oinlala Sale, and I am your regular host for the Tax Talk. On this show, we make it our duty to educate you on issues pertaining to tax administration in Lagos State. If you work, live, or have a growing business concern in Lagos State, you definitely need to grab a seat and stay tuned. Let's quickly get into the business news making the rounds, after which we have an interesting interview lined up for you.
This is business news. President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated the first phase of the iconic Lagos Rail Mass Transit Red Line project at Ikeja. The president was received by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his wife Ibijoke, the Deputy Governor Obafemi Hamzat, state commissioners and aides at the inauguration of the Red Line train project at Ikeja, Lagos. Tinubu was welcomed by Governors Usman Ododo of Kogi State, Abiodun Oyebanji of Ekiti State, Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, former Lagos State Governor Mr. Akim Yambode, and other dignitaries. Speaking while unveiling the 27 kilometers first phase of the rail project stretching from Agbado in Ogun State to Onyigbo, President Tinubu commended the Lagos Area Metropolitan Transport Authority, Lamata, and the Lagos State government led by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for such a massive project. The president said what Lamata and the Lagos State government had done is a strong reminder that true change is possible, and change we must achieve, progress we must achieve. It is not about single individual. We have huge population in the world. We cannot afford to relax. The burgeoning population, we must plan and prepare for it, and this economy, we will grow it and will feed ourselves out of the penury, and we'll be happy we did, end quote. Speaking at the event, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said the project, a 37 kilometers marvel of modern engineering featuring state-of-the-art stations at Agbado, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, Onyigbo, will transport about 250,000 passengers daily, which will grow to 750,000 passengers daily when we have the full complement of rolling stock on the line. He added that while much had been accomplished, there is still much ahead to be done, noting that there would be a total of 6 lines on the Lagos Rail Mass Transit system when fully developed. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said, quote, "We have already started preliminary work on the next 2, the green and purple lines. The green line is a 71.49 kilometer route from Marina to the Lekki Free Zone, one of the fastest growing industrial areas on the continent today, and also where we will be sitting the new Lagos International Airport. The purple line is a 54.35 kilometer line from the Redemption Camp to Ojo, near the Lagos State University. The final 2 lines will be the orange and the yellow lines," end quote. The Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria has expressed its concern over the high level of tax evasion in Nigeria, especially among the wealthy class. The president of the institute, Mr. Samuel Agbeluyi, said this while fielding questions from newsmen during the 2024 council retreat with the theme Making CITN the Professional Institute of Choice, Strategies and Options held in Uyo Akwa Ibom State. He said that the institute was looking at bringing such categories of people into the tax net to give back to the society that had contributed to their success. He said that the institute was looking at bringing such categories of people into the tax net to give back to the society that had contributed to their success. He explained that though CITN as an institute was working with the government to formulate policies and strategies required to generate more revenue, it wasn't conscious not to increase the rate and bring in new taxes that will become a burden to taxpayers in the country. Mr. Agbeluyi noted, quote, "Nigeria is going through a difficult and turbulent experience, and we must all come together. Taxation is within the fiscal policy realm, and as an institute, we keep advising the government as to the policies and strategies required to generate more revenue," end quote. In a significant step to encourage local production and strengthen the economy, the Lagos State government has assured businesses operating in the state of its continuous commitment to providing platforms to navigate the current economic challenges confronting the state and the nation. Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Medeben, gave the assurance at a meeting with leaders and representatives of business membership organizations held recently at the State Secretariat at Lausa Ikeja. Speaking further at the event, Ambrose Medeven stated that the meeting was born out of the necessity to feel the plight of businesses and to put heads together to generate solutions to tackle the current global economic challenges. Enumerating the contributions of the MSMEs at a meeting that was attended physically and virtually by MSMEs from various sectors, the Commissioner averred that concerted efforts have been made to resolve various issues confronting businesses in the state, and the government is still working on others in line with the themes plus development agenda of the Sanwo-Olu's administration. And that's it on Business News.
Hello, sir. Good evening. How may I assist you?
I made a reservation for a room. My name is Ahmad.
Excellent, Mr. Amodu. A moment, please. You made a reservation for our deluxe suite for 2 nights. That will be 150,000 naira, sir. How would you like to make payment? Cash or card?
Card.
Okay. Thank you. Savings or current, sir?
Current.
Your PIN, please.
Thank you. You don't charge 5% consumption tax here.
No, sir. We don't do that.
Really? You're running a hospitality business and you're not charging 5% consumption tax?
No.
Hold on a minute. Hey, bro.
Alpha.
Yeah, I am at an apartment in Ogba, and the receipt issued to me did not reflect the payment or deduction of consumption tax.
Oh, really? Thanks for the heads up. I will send a team to investigate.
I mean, they should be penalized.
Attention, all service apartment owners and operators in the hospitality business in Lagos State must charge and remit consumption tax to LIRS. Failure to comply is a contravention of the extant provisions in Section 9 of the HORC Law 2009, which attracts penalties as stipulated in Section 10 and 11 of the same law. Stay on the right side of the law.
Welcome back to the Tax Talk. Today we have the General Manager, Lagos State Physical Planning Permits Authority, LASPA, Mr. Kehinde Oshinaike, with us. We want to talk about building, structure and certification in Lagos State. I think a few landlords and stakeholders in the building industry might do well to pay attention to this particular discussion, as we will answer a few questions you may have in this area. That's not to say tenants or other taxpayers won't learn something as well. You're welcome, sir.
My pleasure.
What is the mandate of LASPA and what legislative statutes govern its operational framework?
Okay, the legislative statute governing the framework of LASPA, Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law 2019 as amended, actually established the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, popularly called LASPA. And one of the mandates of LASPA, one, is to process and issue planning permits. The planning permit is either known as building plan approval, but according to the law, it is planning permits. Another mandate of the agency or the authority is to also prepare lower order plans. We call it lower order plan in the sense that they are made for small geographical area. You know, the master plan is more or less a broad-based map, like a comprehensive map of the whole state. So, but however, for that master plan to be more effective, there has to be the provision of lower order plans for small areas. Another mandate of the authorities is to ensure that the planning permits that are granted are monitored in order to ensure the compliance of this master plan. I will continue to discuss in the course of the program.
Okay, we look forward to that. How do we go about obtaining a planning permit in Lagos State?
Thank you very much. You see, the process of obtaining permits in Lagos is a seamless one. But unfortunately, there's this misconception in the public that it takes a long time. But that is not the case. It's just a perception. It doesn't reflect the reality on ground.
Can you give us an idea of a typical time frame for processing a planning permit?
10 working days. Because I can take you through the whole process for that 10
Yes, you can take us through the whole process of that 10 working days.
Okay, the first day you submit your application. There's what's called registration. Once you bring in your application, for instance, we don't do it, we screen that application first. So after screening, let's assume everything is in order, they will now register. So that is when the 10 days will now start from. The first day, our officers will go to site with you to look at the approvability of that location. Is this something we can actually approve for residential? Is this an area we can approve for industrial use? So once that has been determined, they will do the charting. So once the charting is also in alliance with your proposal, then that takes 2 days away. The engineers, architect, they will sign off on your drawing, on the form. There's an assessment form. They will sign the assessment form. So once they sign one day, then that makes the 3rd day. So the 4th day, they will do the formal, what I call evaluation of your applications. Once the application has been evaluated, everything is okay. The recommending officer will sign off. That is the 4th day. Then the district officer will also make recommend, depending on the level, because we have 3 different, various levels of approving authority. At the district level, when I say the district officer, there's a district officer in charge of a district. A district is like, let me say, an area, not necessarily a whole local government. So after that, if it's ground and force, for instance, residential development, the district officer will sign off and give you the approval. Pending, when I say give you approval, it's not that releasing the approval to you. They will send the file to the head office for the accounts to clear. We want to see if you have paid the right money and if actually the money has actually dropped in government's coffer. That's POS. So once that has been confirmed, we send the application to LIRS for them to also confirm your tax. If your tax is adequate, like I said, that is more or less 10 days, even less than that.
If so, what is the duration of its validity?
It's actually 2 years. That is failure to commence construction.
Within the operational landscape of your agency, what are the predominant challenges you face and how are they being addressed?
One of the major challenges is the fact that people don't want to even comply with the law, and it's quite unfortunate. We discovered that people are not paying their taxes as a trend, like I said earlier. Either they are not paying correctly, or they are not paying on time, or they are not even paying at all. So failure to obtain clearance from LIRS, meaning that we are going to deny you that planning permits. So these are some of the challenges that we are having, particularly with the private developers who are bent in circumventing the law to ensure that they achieve their unholy mission, more or less circumventing the law at the expense of the states.
Are there measures being undertaken to expedite measures, in the areas of processing duration?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that wonderful question. One of it is to more or less create additional district offices, and which we have done. Hitherto, we used to have 30 district offices representing each local government. But what we have done, we have even created additional 20, making 50 district offices. It's also to expedite the process of granting of planning permits.
Wow, I feel like a sponge. I'm just soaking in all this information about LASPA. And I still have a few more questions, but we need to go on a quick break. If you're just joining us, you're watching The Tax Talk. The show isn't over. We're going on a quick break just so we can allow you settle into your chair and be part of the discussion. We'll be right back.
Have you had a hard time with taxes and understanding tax administration in Lagos State and the complex nature of Nigerian tax law? Do you know what agency or tier of government collects the various types of taxes? Have you ever found yourself asking any of these questions? Join us for your favorite program, The Tax Talk, your infotainment program.
A big thank you for staying with us. We've been talking to Mr. Kehinde Oshinaike, who is the General Manager, Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, LASPA. We have a few more questions, and I'm going to start with this one, which is all about if someone chooses to ignore the process of getting a planning permit and just go straight into constructing a building. Are there repercussions for such an action?
Yes, there is. Every failure to adhere to the law, there's always a repercussion. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, the law will have to take its course. If you fail to obtain your planning permit, I mean, we have prescribed, I mean, sanctions according to the regulations. And one of which is the fact that, look, if you discover that you have violated any section of the law, for instance, the construction site will serve you first. The notice is more or less like a formal invitation for us to say, look, we have observed that you don't have a planning permit. I will tell you, for instance, we discover somebody constructing multiple units somewhere in Lekki Aziz, which is contrary to this. We told him he has to revert to the approval that was given to him for the number of units. He was trying to do 8 units instead of 4 units. And he came to me that we should penalize. I said, we are not going to penalize you. You are going to revert to that state. And that's exactly what they are doing now. So there's always a repercussion for anything that you have done contrary to the provision of the law.
Could you explain the fundamental distinctions between the provisional permits and full permits?
Okay, thank you. That's an attempt to also streamline and ensure that everything is, I mean, seamless, particularly the good people of Lagos State, and taking into consideration some of the challenges that they face. I mean, this issue of money stuff and perfecting their title. The regulation actually made provision for 2 types of permits. We have the provisional permit and the full permit. In a case where you don't have a registered title, what do you mean by registered title? You are yet to register your title with the Lagos State Lands Bureau or any government agency authorized to register that title. Or you don't have a conveyance, like let's even CFO or consent. So you are not going to, you don't qualify for full planning permit. So provisional permit, like the name implies, is just a provisional for just to enable you to perfect your title within a period of, initially it was 2 years, but now we have reduced to 1 year. So within that 1 year that we have given you provisional permit, we expect you to quickly, as much as possible, perfect your title. Then you can now come back. I will give you the full permit. The full permit is only given to a potential applicant that has a registered title. One is without a registered title, the other one is with a registered title.
In summary, prior to issuance of building permits, applicants are required to successfully undergo a tax compliance evaluation conducted by the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS. Correct?
Yes. So I always encourage people to pay their tax, not only as at when due, pay the correct tax. So that will also enable us to give you your planning permit within the 10 working days. Otherwise, we will not be able to give you. Because if you are not paying tax, you have yet to fulfill the requirements of the law. It is expressly stated in the law. It's one of the requirements. You must give us evidence of, I mean, the fact that you are paying your tax 3 years, 3 current years, so you must pay that. Otherwise, we will not be able to give you that planning permit.
Thank you so much for coming on the Tax Talk today. This is where we wrap up our discussion with you, Mr. Kehinde Oshinaike, the GM of LASPA. Your explanations are great and valuable and is nothing short of a masterclass indeed.
Thank you.
We still have more coming your way on the Tax Talk. I guarantee you that you will not be disappointed if you stay with us.
Hello, sir. Good evening. How may I assist you?
I made a reservation for a room. My name is Ahmad.
Excellent, Mr. Modu. A moment, please. You made a reservation for our deluxe suite for 2 nights. That will be 150,000 naira, sir. How would you like to make payment? Cash or card?
Card.
Okay. Thank you. Savings or current, sir?
Current.
Your PIN, please.
Thank you. You don't charge 5% consumption tax here.
No, sir. We don't do that.
Really? You're running a hospitality business and you're not charging 5% consumption tax?
No.
Hold on a minute. Hey, bro.
Alpha.
Yeah, I am at an apartment in Ogba, and the receipt issued to me did not reflect the payment or deduction of consumption tax.
Oh, really? Thanks for the heads up. I will send a team to investigate.
I mean, they should be penalized.
Attention, all service apartment owners and operators in the hospitality business in Lagos State must charge and remit consumption tax to LIRS. Failure to comply is a contravention of the extant provisions in Section 9 of the HORC Law 2009, which attracts penalties as stipulated in Section 10 and 11 of the same law. Stay on the right side of the law.
Lagos State leads and others follow as far as tax administration is concerned in Nigeria. This segment is dedicated to putting visuals to the project the state has committed taxpayers' monies to. Tax Digits is next on the Tax Talk.
Today is the official commissioning of the first phase of our remarkable housing project known as Greenwich Gardens, which was constructed through a public-private partnership initiative. This housing project represents the visionary ability of our administration to establish a new voyage of grassroots development in the country.
The housing deficit of Lagos State will key into that particular program, and that is why we are here to commission this particular project.
I stand here very happy and with a very great sense of pleasure that here in Agboike to bring good greetings, warm felicitation to the entire people of Agboike, to LCD, to celebrate with you on what we see as a valuable dividend of democracy in the provision of shelter here in Agboike. A lot of people have spoken about Akanimodu, Ajalogun. Indeed, this is a complete transformation. Several years ago, it used to be a place that no one can dare to imagine that a wonderful edifice like this will come up. And so, the Greenwich Garden Housing Estate Agboike will provide more decent homes for Lagosians residing in this metropolis. It's sustained by the earnest desire for us to work together collaboratively. Government at the state level or even at the national level cannot do it alone. And so we as a government, we understand the challenges of housing in our state. We know that the deficit is huge, and so we need to be able to think out of the box, collaborate with the private sector, and create an enabling environment for them to thrive. In the last 2 days, ending yesterday, Lagos State government usual its 5th series of the Lacerera Lagos Real Estate Conversation Town Hall meeting was held in Victoria Island, and the report coming out from me were that developers are not only happy with us, but they've given us other lines of engagement.
Your company on today's episode is definitely appreciated. Up next on the Tax Talk is Tax Your Brain. And I honestly enjoy seeing residents put on the spot with some of our questions. It affords you the chance to see the wide variety of people living in Lagos. So out of the studio and into the streets we go with Tax Your Brain.
You are now watching Tax Your Brain on the Tax Talk. My name is Helen Kalu, so stay with us.
Personal income tax. Income tax. Personal income tax. Personal income tax.
Personal income tax paying. That was it for Tax Your Brain on the Tax Talk. Let's head back to the studio.
I hope you enjoyed our trivia with the people out there today. I definitely did. At this point, I would like to remind you that you can be part of our social media community simply by following us across all social media platforms. Feel free to also engage the LIRS on social media as well. It's a very modern and tech-savvy agency, and they're very passionate about making things easy for you with regards to your tax obligations. I am Oyinlola Sally, and I'll be back with you in another 7 days on this same station. Till then, stay safe.